Hello, and welcome to another update video about the S&P 500. So maybe we start with a look at the bigger picture again, just briefly. Nothing has changed since yesterday. Obviously, I'm going to cover the S&P 500 again regularly. Now, at least try to. So the idea, why do I do that? Because we are really at a key point now. A key point in the market where we could turn to the upside, which would be very bullish, and we could get another all-time high before we really come down, or we go down straight away in this fourth wave. Remember, structurally, we are dealing here with a massive time span for this as a 1-2 setup back in the 1970s, and this third wave is basically over. Possibly, or we get one more high in the third wave. So I take you through the scenarios again because it's very important. So looking at this structure, again, it starts in the 1970s. I have a 1-2 setup, a very, very long third wave to the upside, which could have peaked here in 2021. I explained the count yesterday. Feel free to check out yesterday's video to get a little bit more detail. But the idea, the primary expectation is that it now turns down in the fourth wave. And after that, that could take 5 to 10 years. I don't know. It's a massive degree. And after that, we could head to new all-time highs. Alternatively, and that is also likely, we could get one more high in this third wave. It depends on how I count the move of the 2020 low to the high. I struggle to count 5 waves, but you can do it. Okay, it's possible. So that's why we have 2 different scenarios here. A bullish alternative and the primary, which leads to another deeper wave 4. So obviously they are both likely. I personally would like price to go up higher. And I had a lot of questions after yesterday's video. That would be quite bearish. It would be, It would be quite bearish with that massive wave 4 to the downside. How could you do a crypto analysis based on that? Well, first of all, we have to take every chart on its own, because obviously a lot of people follow our main channel, More Crypto Online. And because a lot of people are following the More Crypto Online channel, the question always comes up, how would that work with crypto? Well, you have to take every chart on its own. It doesn't work. I also always hear about the inverse or negative correlation between crypto and the DXY, which if you really dive into the data, doesn't really exist. Take a look at the bull market of the DXY sort of into 2022. It did rise over the last decade. I can't remember how many percent. Don't have the chart in front of me now, but it did rise quite substantially. And crypto did go up as well. So if, all the sort of negative correlation stuff was true, crypto should have really gone down with the DXY going up, right? All this stuff is you can't really focus. You can't use it for trading, okay? And why would I use the S&P 500 to do an analysis on crypto? Why not just use the crypto chart? So that's the first thing, okay? But then I'm not telling you that it is unlikely to make a new all-time high. It's just the alternative. And when I show you 2 counts, they are both highly likely. The market could do anything. The market can do really anything. There are infinite numbers of possibilities in the market. But we deal with what should happen, not what could happen. So I show you 2 counts which are highly likely. And the value of the analysis is not that I tell you the market will go up or the market will go down. The value of the analysis is to identify risk. And the value of the analysis is to tell you what is the key pivot point and what are the confirmation levels for each count. Now, let's explain that, because there is here an absolute key pivot point at $4,520 pretty much, or $4,510. It is the 78.6 Fibonacci retracement of this move down that started in 2022 or 2021. This is the pivot between both scenarios. So we're coming to a key point, and that's the value of the analysis. because this is where reward is high and risk is low, for example, for a short trade. And above that level, the orange count will gain preference in terms of probabilities. I think personally it has really good chances to make a new all-time high. I think that. And again, if people like correlations, right? And if I look at the crypto market, I mean, yeah, it would work out nicely together because crypto seems to be in the early stages of an uptrend. At least Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins not so much. So the S&P 500, I mean, it has good chances. The price action of the 2022 low, however, isn't too convincing. But the main reason why I point towards the downside here at the moment, and why I'm not saying that the move up is the primary expectation, it is purely because I don't want to raise expectations too much, and because we are still below the pivot, and that's even more important, because of risk, okay? Risk management, I mean, reward to risk, depending on from where you measure, but I mean, we're pretty close to a top anyway, okay? Either the top is already in this third wave, or it's, or that fifth wave of a third is still in the making, but upside potential compared to downside risk is pretty low. And that's why, for risk management purposes, I decided to point out that we go down a little lower before we go up higher. I think that is a very reasonable way to do it. Whereas, for example, in the crypto market, which I analyze as well, the risk is certainly, let's say, on the upside, because, potential to the upside is significant. Whereas downside risk, I mean, people argue we still are in the bear market or we're just leaving it, but the risk to the downside is fairly low compared to the upside potential. Here, upside potential is fairly low, even in the orange count. Yeah, we can go make a new all-time high, absolutely, but how much more do you get out of it, right? So, okay, do you? I hope you understand what I mean. I mean, I'm very happy for price to go up higher, and I think it has a really good chance to do it, but it will be on the lower time frames that this count will be confirmed or not, and we take a look at that in this video. So I promised you yesterday I'm going to do a bit of a deeper dive into the lower time frame wave count. Again, the so-called primary, I don't like that idea about primary and alternative. They are both highly likely. What really counts is the pivot point, which sort of decides between, okay, probability-wise down, probability-wise up, okay? And that's, again, the $4,511 level, in my opinion. Okay, so looking at this structure at the moment, if we talk about the wave 4 to the downside, which would be quite bearish indeed, we would say we have started an A wave. This is a B wave that could be nearly finished, a C wave down to form a larger A, then a B up and a C down in wave 4. Maybe we get another one like that. This is the so-called bearish count, and it should really turn down quite swiftly here. Because if I go to the, let me see if I can do anything. Yeah, the 4-hour chart. I mean, really looking here at the 4-hour chart, how would I label that? Bear in mind, the white count is the, let's say, bearish one. Yeah. So we have an A wave. I count that very, very well as a 3-wave move to the upside here in this A wave. So it's quite straightforward to do, which is again, why I think it makes me lean a little bit towards the white count, because this move up is not impulsive. I could get away with counting it as a leading diagonal, but it counts, in my opinion, better as a correction. So basically an ABC. Got an A wave up, a B wave, no, wrong tool, 1 second. Got my A wave up, got my B wave down, and the C wave to the upside here to the top of wave A. Then obviously we've got our, let me see, yeah, ABC structured, well, ABC or WXY even, but probably AB, it doesn't matter. Correction here to the downside, okay, in a B wave. Yeah, and now we would be moving up in a C wave. And I think the question is now, okay, is this C wave over? Because we're very close to the 78.6 Fibonacci retracement level, okay? Very, very close. So I can count it basically the C wave. I can count the 5-wave move up basically complete. So I could say, okay, let me zoom in. So looking at this structure, I could say, yeah, in this B wave, we have O wave 1, we have O wave 2, and I have to make that white again. we're avoiding an overlap here, so I can get away with counting that as a 3-4 and a wave 5 to the upside. Doesn't look great, but it's a valid count, so I have a possible 5-wave move to the upside here. Yeah, absolutely. That's a possibility. And based on that, it could now come down. Yeah, it could come down now. Now, I'm going to tell you when is this confirmed. So if the top is in, what would be the confirmation level? We get that, I think, if we look at another way of counting it, because it could still push a little higher. So we need to understand what would be that wave count. And I think we could count this wave 1 as a leading diagonal as well. Wave 2 to the downside. This could be a 3. This could now be a 4. And then one more high in a wave 5. But in the B wave, this should not go above, or at least not substantially above, the $4,511 level. Now, okay, so how low is this wave 4 allowed to go? To get that measurement, we can take the length of the third wave and we look for the 50% retracement. 4,244. So if price goes below $4,244, I don't want to wave 4 below the 50% retracement. So that would be quite a substantial sign that we're coming down. Keep an eye on that level, okay? Very important. Yeah, and I think this is sort of the bearish count, and a break below 4,000, what did I say, 4,244 plus minus a few dollars, right? We talk about a sustained break. Would confirm to me, based on what I see now, that this bearish count is working out. On the flip side, if we see continuation to the upside higher and a break above 4,511, I think then we deal with something more bullish. And what I need to see here in the orange wave count, which is more bullish, I think, based on this structure, again, I have a problem to count this wave 1 as a 5-wave move. Yeah. I'm just thinking, can I count this as a leading diagonal here? It would be very much made up. So yeah, maybe a wave 1, then a wave 2 to the downside here. The third wave. In a third wave, in a bullish structure, I needed to reach, let me see, ideally the 1.618 extension of wave 1. Where would we get to? Where would we get to? In the 1.618 extension, we get to $4,900 pretty much. So I would like a third wave to get there. Okay. Maybe the 1.236 extension, but ideally the 1.618 extension. Then I should get a wave 4 and then a wave 5 higher to possibly here somewhere 200% extension, maybe a little higher. So we talk maybe around 5,500 roughly. Yeah. This would be the bullish count. But again, you can see there is not much more in there really to go. Yeah. I mean, if you consider what happened here between 2020 and 2021, that was quite substantial. Not sure how much more we can get out of this. And therefore, again, for risk management purposes, I think we need to be pretty much focused on the downside while letting the market show us that something more bullish can happen. And I think it can, right? And it will get more probable above $4,511. And then looking at the sub-wave structure count for the third wave, I think this one is still valid. I think it just depends on the length of that fifth wave here. So yeah, and this is sort of the micro count I'm following. Again, I gave you the level below which the bearish count is more and more confirmed. And I gave you the level above which the bullish count gets more likely. And I gave you the level that we need to see for the third wave. Be aware that there should be probably a bit of resistance anyway, or if not substantial resistance, around the $4,800 level. So I would not rule out that this third wave gets up there. Maybe does its fourth wave somehow. And then rallies. Okay. So yeah, this is my S&P 500 analysis on the shorter time frame. Again, we could go into much more detail, but you know, is it, you know, how much? So if I go to the maybe one more final check here. I mean, even here, this wave 4, we would have enough to say A wave down, B wave up, and a C wave down. So it's going to be very interesting. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. But I gave you all the relevant levels. So let's focus on them, and I keep you updated about the S&P 500. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.